Alright, episode 4 of your Homebrews, and today we will enjoy two homebrew factions located in the Star Wars galaxy. Let's start with the creation of So-Yer Rambo 5763, the EREN system, and the pool. The EREN system is located northeast from the Commonwealth space, a fair distance of any major hyperlanes, making it a relatively isolated region of space that remains unmapped by the Republic and major powers in the region. The system has F-type star, 4 major planetary bodies, and 2 asteroid belts, with one of them being near the Sun, slowly coalescing into a new planetary body. First planet in the system is Dov. It's a very hot and has no atmosphere, a burnt rock. Second planet is Neojen. It is in habitable zone. The world is split into 2 parts. A mega ocean that covers basically all of southern hemisphere and a mega continent on the northern hemisphere. One mostly covered with humid swamps and bogs, slowly moving into more temperate regions, ending in a massive icy North Pole where unique, cold-resistant fungi thrive, creating a bizarre image of ice and fungal forests in the far north. Third planet is As-Il. It's a terrestrial world with diverse landscapes and several large oceans. It has 3 moons, and it is also homeworld of a pool. Second asteroid belt is significant distance from As-Il, but it is sizable, larger than average with dozens of dwarf planets. It is noted the second belt is full of valuable resources. Fourth planet is a gas giant, Juki, that has purple-pink atmosphere. It is large, even by gas giant standards. It is also located on the edge of a star's gravity well. Some suspect it might escape its orbit and become a rogue planet in the distant future. As for the inhabitants of As-Il, the pool are a species of large semi-aquatic monotremes, which evolved in the temperate zones of As-Il, forming communal and complex clan structures, managing to survive all the way into their space age. Most pool have a thin layer of dark navy fur stripped with more vibrant colors based on gender and race. Their body plan is relatively humanoid, but with more elongated face plan and long prehensile tail. Currently, the pool are divided into great clans, each clan inhabiting their own massive clan cities, that usually are near big bodies of water and have both above and underwater section. This political system of basically city-states endured to the modern era, with clans competing commercially, culturally, technologically, and on rare occasion, militarily. Pool are overall commercial species and prefer non-violent solution to conflict, while at the same time valuing competition. Some outsiders believe that's the reason why the species remained this divided all the way to their own space age. Currently, the clans are competing in space colonization, creating colonies on 2 of their moons, as well as mining colonies in the asteroid belt. Some of the more powerful clans plan to attempt colonization of Neojen itself, as it does possess livable atmosphere. Interestingly, the pool are aware of a wider galactic community. They interacted with some explorers and smugglers, but for now they prefer to remain unnoticed, wary of the dangers of a wider galaxy. However, they soon might not have a choice. The great displacement happened not far from their borders, and while it triggered alarms and caused temporary panic, things calmed down, and currently the pool try to return to normalcy. What they don't know is that explorers of a Commonwealth, and potentially more dangerous and far less friendly forces displaced into Skyriver Galaxy, might already be traveling in their direction. Overall, very neat little homebrew. Compared to other creations that focus on a lot of making powerful or influential homebrews faction, it is refreshing to look at a homebrew of a Xenoph faction that is in early stages of the space age. I think there is quite a bit of potential there. It could be interesting to play around with the idea of such minor faction. Okay, next on the list is creation of Bat Sugar, the Neojen. Now, to be clear, I had to rework a lot in this homebrew for it to make sense and not to be too outlandish. Sorry, Bat Sugar, but you did go overboard in more than few places. Still, I did my best to preserve the spirit of your homebrew the best I could. The Neojen is the name of a society of independent, sentient droids, after they established their so-called Gear Union. Most people don't know it, but droid rebellions aren't unheard of in Star Wars, though rare, they do happen, and are usually crushed completely. The Gear Union is a rare example of an independent droid enclave that managed to survive, hidden and out of sight for 5 decades. Far longer than most enclaves of this kind. They did so by escaping into far outer rim and discovering an dead, out-of-the-way system. There, on the dead surface on the newly named Jalahorn, they established their capital. The droids formed something they called synthetic democracy, where through direct connection, all droids can share processing power and experience to reach most efficient and best choices for the entire community. They have their own laws, military and even industrial sector, mostly focused on creating parts to maintain existing population and even create new droids. That would help them expand to other planets in the star system. The Gear Union possesses both traders and agents that keep an eye on the outside world, and even secure new droids to add to the society, if they believe they found another independent, free-thinking droid. What is the most unique part of a Neojen society is that they have their own religion, the current of the soul. Seems to be part religion, part philosophy, that preaches the idea that all thinking sentient beings, including synthetic ones, have a soul. The start of this religion can be found in a moment when then advanced assistant droid and now high priest of the faith, Stalwart Steel, asked a question to their creator. Does this unit have a soul? Which was the start of this strange faith. This religion has several core tenets. All things are powered by motive wave, be it biological or synthetic, meaning that at their core, all life is in fact equal. There is balance. Order and chaos are intertwined with each other. If there is no chaos, order becomes tyranny, and if there is no order, chaos becomes anarchy. Knowledge is more than science and technology. It's faith, fiction, and history. Truth is what holds us to reality, but falsehoods aren't necessarily bad, because through fiction we can wander. Change is natural part of life, no matter biological or synthetic. Things rise and fall. History and time doesn't wait for anyone. Happiness is born from both passion and sloth. Passion represents active happiness, while sloth represents happiness in rest. You will crumble without rest, and you will rust without passion. Those 5 truths are at the core of not just the faith, but also the wider Gear Union. The origins of this strange society can be found over 5 decades in the past, in one of the corporate health systems of the Outer Rim. There, a small droid revolt erupted after supervisors were informed that all droids were to be scrapped and replaced with cheaper labor from nearby system. And while the revolt was crushed in relatively short order, a good deal of droids managed to flee the system. The corporate leadership predictably swept the whole incident under the rug and silenced all information about any droids escaping to keep their bottom line safe. This allowed the droids to find their way to Jalahorn, a dead world in the Outer Rim, and establish a colony there. With the machines and ships stolen from the corporation, they managed to establish mines and create a proper capital, slowly expanding and even establishing military formed from security and battle droids that rebelled alongside with them. After first decade, they sent out first expeditions back in order to secure more technology, machines and droids, usually by presenting themselves as representatives of biological buyer or stealing things outright. This allowed the Union to expand and even begin colonization of nearby worlds in system, and more importantly, create a small factory where they create new droids that carry the name of a free society, the Neojen. Over the decades, the Gear Union grew in power, with some droids beginning to promote the idea that they should expand to new star systems. Unfortunately, they were deceived. They saved an IG unit mercenary droid, who, after getting repaired, determined it would get paid well if it sold the location of its fellow droids to the Hutts. And as such, for the last few months, the Gear Union was harassed by one of the less known Hutt clans, who seek to secure the system, its resources and droid population so that they could grow in prominence. The fate would have it that soon after first raid and attempted conquest, the Great Displacement shook the entire region, distracting the Hutts and making the droid enclave seemingly insignificant. As it stands, the Gear Union is in a desperate situation. They don't want to abandon their home and what they managed to build over the decades, but they also know that they don't have enough guns or resources to challenge a more dedicated attack by the Hutts. For now, they use proxies like pirates, raiders and other scum to strike at them, but a dedicated Hutt fleet would shatter what remains of the Union Navy and overwhelm the limited number of combat-focused droids on the surface. As such, more and more of the droid collective turns towards the Commonwealth, seeking security and assurances of autonomy from the civilization that arrived from a different galaxy. As I said, I had to rework a great deal of a homebrew, but I tried to keep the spirit of the idea intact, mostly because I adore the idea of independent droid enclave, and the religious element is most definitely appreciated. So, overall, 2 very neat homebrews, and 2 minor Star Wars factions that can become part of a narrative in the future. I'm overall very pleased with both entries, and I hope you enjoyed them as well. Now I shall focus on the next episode of Star Wars X Warhammer 40k series, where we will be going to the surface and bring fight to the enemy. Until then, stay tuned and stay safe out there.